Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic. Today we have the 1997 Mitsubishi Eclipse GST. This one could go quite quick around this. I'm not usually a big fan of the Mitsubishi Eclipse. I prefer the later ones. This sort of model, the Fast and Furious model, doesn't really appeal to me. I find it quite blobby looking, and also I personally prefer the FTO, but nevertheless it is here. The reason I have quite high expectations of this vehicle is because it's got quite good power. 406 horsepower front-wheel drive car. Now, in the real world that would usually mean disaster, but in the case of Gran Turismo 2 and the fact that this car does have a limited slip differential, hopefully it should be able to put the power down and impress us quite a bit. Unfortunately it does weigh a lot too, 1,135 kilos, but we'll see if the power offsets that. Anyways, no matter what happens, it is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Subaru Legacy Touring Sport RS, that's at a time of a 30.037. The Eclipse unlikely to beat that. The Eclipse, the car it should have in its sights is the Honda Civic SIR2, which at a time of a 30.779. So that's... there's like a weird blue light there, interesting. That's what the Eclipse should be gunning for, but we shall see. I do like the fact that even though there was a 4-wheel drive version of this vehicle in real life, for whatever reason, they've decided to use the front-wheel drive version. So not the GPX, I think it was called, was the top spec one. This is the standard front-wheel drive GST, which means it gets compared even less favourably to the FTO, which is interesting. Also of note is the fact that this car is two-tone in this game, so it has a black sort of roof, which carries over to the race mod as well, which I think looks very peculiar. I do find it quite interesting that the race mod has that like weird sort of graphic going down the side of it. It's almost like they were predicting the Fast and Furious future this car would find, because it's got a very similar sort of decal to the car from the film. It is... I'm trying to... You definitely feel the weight. That's the way I would say this vehicle drives. You definitely feel the weight of it. 30.253, that is quick. If this beats the Evo 2, which it could, the Evo 2 did have handling issues. This... It feels heavy. You do have to sort of force it around the track a little bit, but it certainly doesn't feel bad to drive or anything. The Evo had some quite bad understeer issues. This car does not suffer the same fate as that. Try and get a decent run up here. Yeah, the Eclipse could do a number on the Evo 2, which would be our first major surprise of the return of the Hot Lap Classic, I guess. We definitely had upsets before. I think this car... it's only a 5-speed. I think this car would be heavily benefiting from shorter gear ratios, I will be honest. Right, final lap, let's see what we can do here. It's the turbo drops off from second to third. That's the big issue with this car. That's the Achilles heel. It's not in the turbo band when you shift up from second to third. That kills it. That really does kill it. That's the one Achilles heel of this vehicle, which I think if you tried again, that could beat the Evo 2. It's really not far off. There's only a 100th of a second in it, basically. But yeah, unfortunately it's just the gear ratios are a little bit too long. As mentioned previously in this series, I do not upgrade the gearboxes on this car. I think with an upgraded gearbox this probably could go quicker, but as it stands on its standard gearbox, it's just not quite as good as that. But regardless, 30.253 is a very good time, and that actually puts it into third place. It beats the Renault Clio Sport, Lotus Esprit, Honda Civic, literally just loses by a fraction to the Evo 2. So, again, shame, really. I think if you strung a good lap together, it would beat the Evo 2, but would it beat it on merit? Maybe not. I think this handles better. I definitely think this is a better... I think this car with tuning, unlike the Evo 2, I think this car with some sort of gearbox tuning and stuff really could go up there. But as it stands in its stock form, I think this is nicer to drive than the Evo 2, but this has a more inherent downside, and you can feel it on that upshift from second to third where it just drops out the turbo band, so that's unfortunate. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. Do hope you've enjoyed. As always, feel free to recommend any cars down below that you want to see go around the track. Next time, I'll be driving something completely different, so join us for that. Until then, farewell.